Dear friends in Christ Jesus, we are on the 17th Sunday in the ordinary time. When we go through the first reading and the Gospel, we find a close connection between the two. There is a strange kind of poker game going on in the first reading, taken from the book of Genesis. Here we see Abraham accompanying his heavenly visitors to the district of Sodom and Gomorrah. And the game opens with God wondering whether Abraham should be told what God has in mind about the sinful condition of these two great but terrible cities. Abraham, somehow sensing the mind of God, represents an ancient question. Will you sweep away the innocent with the guilty? So the bidding begins. Abraham lowers the pot, but God keeps raising. Abraham pleads with God to save the many by the righteous and just lives of the few. God increases the pot of mercy as the number of the just to be found in Sodom decreases. Abraham wins by being assured that there are at least 10 just persons to be found. And finally, God wins by showing that forgiveness is his trump card. And what about Abraham? He neither fails because his persistence and perseverance in prayer, or rather shamelessness before God in interceding for the people, benefited much out of the mercy of God. When we come to the Gospel passage, we find that it centers a reflection upon three letters: A, S, K. Asking, seeking, and knocking. The first asking is done by the apostles, who would like Jesus to teach them to pray as John was teaching his followers. As often happened in the lives of the disciples, they got more than they expected. The remainder of our reading are some homely examples which Jesus uses to explain how we should keep asking, seeking, and knocking, and we will eventually receive, find, and have our doors opened. These homely examples reveal how persistence in prayer, as that of Abraham, works in human contexts. Abraham pleaded heartily and changed God's mind on behalf of Sodom and Gomorrah. Does the intensity of our prayer or the continuousness of our knockings render God into surrender and we get what we want? When the people of Israel were carried away from their homes because of their sins, and after 70 years of being in Babylon, God plans to bring them back. And God tells in Jeremiah 29:12, "When you call upon me and come and pray to me, I will hear you. When you search for me, you will find me. If you seek me with all your heart, I will let you find me." Persistence and perseverance in prayer will indeed bear fruit. Monica had to pray for the conversion of Augustine for 33 years, and her prayers were not in vain. That's the same that we find in Luke 18:7 in the parable of the widow and the unjust judge, where we read, "Will not God grant justice to his chosen ones who cry to him day and night?" Then we might ask another question. Then, what about our unanswered prayers? We all have asked for many things which, as of yet, have not been answered. We have knocked, and the door leading to our satisfaction or that of others has remained shut. We have sought, but not found yet. The answer could be found in the Lord's Prayer. Jesus makes clear how the disciples should feel while praying. Indeed, this is where our prayer should begin, with the feeling that we are God's children. Jesus also taught us the words, what to pray to God and in what order. In doing so, he taught us that in prayer, God's interest must take precedence over our demands. He taught us that we should pay heed to the things of the Father before asking for our own. Even in prayer, God comes first. In the Garden of Gethsemane, becoming aware of what would happen to him, Jesus prays, not his will, but Father's be done. Dear friends, Jesus invites us today to reflect and see the way we make our prayers. First of all, do we persevere in our prayers? Secondly, does God's will take precedence over that of ours in our prayers? Let us give a thought to it. May God bless us all.